consider it to be permanent. Regarding singleness, Jesus explains that some are born eunuchs, being incapable of marital relations. Others are made eunuchs, becoming disabled sexually. Yet, some suppress their desire to enjoy sexual relations. They do so in order to focus more fully on matters relating to the kingdom. Let the one who can make room for singleness make room for it, Jesus urges his listeners. Matthew 19:12. People now begin to bring their young children to Jesus. However, the disciples scold the people, likely wanting to keep Jesus from being bothered. On seeing this, Jesus becomes indignant and says to them, "Let the young children come to me. Do not try to stop them, for the kingdom of God belongs to such ones. Truly I say to you, whoever does not receive the kingdom of God like a young child will by no means enter into it." Mark 10:14-15. Luke 18:15. What a fine lesson. To receive God's kingdom, we must be meek and teachable, like young children. Jesus now shows his love for little ones by taking them into his arms and blessing them. And he has such tender love for all who receive the kingdom of God like a young child. Luke 18:17. Teaching about divorce and love for children. Matthew 19:1-15. Mark 10:1-16. Luke 18:15-17. 222. Jesus gives God's view on divorce, the gift of singleness, the need to be like young children. How do the Pharisees test Jesus on the subject of divorce? According to Jesus, what is the divine standard regarding divorce? Why might some disciples choose to remain single? Jesus teaches what lesson through his dealings with young children. 95:223. Jesus is still traveling through Perea toward Jerusalem. A rich young man runs up to him and falls down on his knees before him. The man is one of the rulers, perhaps serving as a presiding officer in a synagogue or as a member of the Sanhedrin. "Good teacher," he inquires, "what must I do to inherit everlasting life?" Luke 8:41. 18. 24:20. Why do you call me good? Jesus replies, "Nobody is good except one, God." Likely the young man uses good as a formalistic title, which is what the rabbis do. Although Jesus is good at teaching, he lets the man know that as a title, good belongs only to God. If, though, you want to enter into life, observe the commandments continually, Jesus advises him. So the young man asks, "Which ones?" Jesus cites 5 of the 10 commandments. About murder, adultery, stealing, bearing false witness, and honoring one's parents. Then he adds a more important commandment. You must love your neighbor as yourself. Matthew 19:17-19. I have kept all of these, the man answers. What am I still lacking? Matthew 19:20. He may feel that he is lacking some good, heroic act that will qualify him for everlasting life. Sensing the earnestness of his request, Jesus feels love for him. Mark 10:21. However, the man has an obstacle before him. The man is attached to his possessions, so Jesus says, "One thing is missing about you. Go, sell what things you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. And come be my follower." Yes, the man could distribute his money to the poor, who cannot repay him, and become a disciple of Jesus. But likely with pity, Jesus sees him rise and turn. Jesus answers a rich young ruler. Matthew 19:16-30. Mark 10:17-31. Luke 18:30. 224. Away sad. The man's attachment to wealth, to his many possessions, blinds him to true treasure. Mark 10:21-22. Jesus says, how difficult it will be for those having money to make their way into the kingdom of God. Luke 18:24. The disciples are astounded by these words and by what Jesus next states. It is easier, in fact, for a camel to get through the eye of a sewing needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. That moves the disciples to ask, who possibly can be saved? Is being saved so challenging that